Good evening, everyone. This is Leanne from Of Love and Shiplap and the founder of Sublimation Graphics and Tutorials here on Facebook. If you're joining us on YouTube, please be sure to come join our Facebook group where our videos air live before they're added to our YouTube channel unedited. And of course, if you're catching us live on Facebook, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Those links are in the video description depending on where you're watching. Today we are going to be doing another white toner video, and I'm super excited that it's not going to be a garment. Now, if you're not familiar with white toner, it is exactly as the name suggests. It is a laser toner printer that has the ability to also print white under all of your colors. And the reason why this is advantageous is because it allows your designs to be bold on just about any type of substrate, including any type of fabric and any color fabric. So if you're stuck with other printing solutions that are not able to be applied to dark garments or cotton garments like sublimation, then white toner printing may be a solution for you. There are dozens of different types of media to choose from, which gives you so much versatility in the things that you can do with this printer. And while garments are the main thing that a lot of people want to go for, I'm always pushing for you guys to think outside the box and move yourself away from markets that are a bit more saturated into something that truly has more profitability. And in that regards, a lot of times that is home decor related items or accessories like glassware. I'm really excited to actually be showing you some different glassware types that you can do going into the holiday season. But for today, I'm going to be showing you how to print a burlap banner using iColor two-step select media. Now, the two-step select media is actually one of my favorite. I think that it has a really great feel when you're using it on garments. And I probably would have chosen something like the select for this project if I had it on hand, but I only had a couple of sheets and I planned on using those for a different demo. The select is the one that I prefer to use, so that's what we're using today. And the only reason I would have chosen the standard is just because it's not really going to matter because it's a banner. We don't have to specifically, it's not going to be washed. We don't have to worry about rasterization. This is just a home decor project. So I got this banner off of Amazon and it's kind of a mess at the moment. It came neatly folded with like layers overlapping and then rolled up together. So when I unrolled it to look at it, it became this mess. So we're just going to be cutting off 8 triangles for it. It has a nice long rope so you can get multiple banners out of this and not be short on string, which I think is fantastic. It was only $10 and it comes with 48 triangles, which means you can get several banners out of this that you can resell for your business. Now, they're just burlap triangles, as you can see. They're actually very stiff. This is not like the nice burlap that you would probably use around your home for pillows. And quite honestly, this is even stiffer and drier than burlap that like feed comes in. I grew up on a farm, for those of you who don't know, so I'm aware of what feed bags feel like. This is not it. This is very stiff. Even like coffee bean bags are softer than this. So anyways, for a burlap banner, it is going to be a fun little project. And with such a low price point, and then to factor in about $5 for paper, I think we'll be printing 3 sheets today. So we'll be looking at about $5 for media. You're talking $6 to $8 for something that you can sell for $25 or more, depending on how long the banner is and what the banner is being used for. Now, banners are a great solution for special occasions, office parties, baby showers, weddings, and of course, holiday decor. I don't know why I had to think about that. You can of course personalize them, or they can be generic like I'm gonna do today, and you can even make them reversible. So you have a lot of options to increase the price point on an item like this, and something that's honestly pretty easy to put together. Today's video is going to be a little bit longer than some of our other ones have been, simply because we're going to be going through the entire process, including setting up the design in Affinity Designer, printing through our ProRip software with our iColor 550 on the iColor two-step select media. And then of course, I'll walk you through the marrying process where we'll be able to do it 3 times so we can cover all the bases. And if something goes wrong, we'll have an opportunity to troubleshoot. And then of course, our pressing and finishing part of this banner. So I think that this is a really great project and it's perfect for this time of year. So I'm excited to do this. And I'm glad that you guys are able to join us. So let's go ahead and I will switch you guys over to the computer and we will go ahead and get started. Before we can open up our print in our ProRiff software, we actually need to create our design, which I didn't do for this tutorial. I'm going to do this really quickly in Affinity Designer. I just wanted to also be able to walk you guys through how to do this and visualize what you're trying to do if you do try and do one of these banners. So I've opened up Affinity Designer. I'm on a Windows laptop. I personally love this program. It's budget friendly, it's user friendly-ish. It definitely will depend on your skill and comprehension and learning levels, of course, but we do the most tutorials on this. So what I like most about it is that it uses 20% of the processing power that Photoshop does, and it actually features a lot of the tools and actions for both Photoshop and Illustrator all in one program. It has your designer persona, which is for vector work, and then it also has your pixel persona, which is for raster work. That's that freehand drawing. So this would be Illustrator and this would be Photoshop. So you can see the all of the tools that you get built into a really impressive program for something that's been on the market for just a short while, and really has a lot to offer for one payment, for life. So we'll start by going to File and New. And I'm going to make sure I have my print tab selected to choose a standard print page size. We're using the iColor two-step select media, which comes in A4. So that's what I'm going to make sure I have selected. And I want to switch this to inches so that I can size my banner pieces correctly. I'll hit create. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a triangle to represent my banner. We can just click on our shape tool. If you wanted to choose other shapes, you would just click on that little arrow in the corner and be able to choose which one you'd like. Click and drag to get it started. I'll go over to transform and I will just manually enter in the width and height. So it is 5 inches for each of those little triangles, and it's 6 inches high from the seam line. I measured from the seam line because I don't want to be printing over that seam line anyways. I'm going to rotate it by hitting that flip vertical icon at the top. And just so it's easier for you guys to see, I'm going to give it a little bit of a shade. We are going to not be printing the shade when this is all said and done. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'll go ahead and center this on the page. There we go. So we want to add our letters, which we're just spelling the word autumn. So I'll click and drag, click on my artistic text tool, click and drag to create text. Type my first letter, and I think I'm just going to go with Times New Roman. This is a fireplace banner. That's going to be probably the best option. I'll go ahead and grab my corner node and resize that. And let's just kind of see how that fits on there. I think that fits pretty good. And I think I'm going to add just some leaves so that this doesn't look quite so plain. So I'll click on my place image tool. We'll see what kind of leaves clip art I have. My virtual assistant is still in the process of organizing this disaster, we'll call it. All right, so we do have some leaves in here. We just want something that feels kind of fall-like. And I could probably, pick one or two more here. I can see he hasn't gotten to this folder just yet. Oh, these are some fun ones. Maybe we'll do these ones instead. He's almost here. I can tell you guys this has been quite the project, so I'm really grateful that my virtual assistant has taken this on so well. All right, I'm going to delete that one because I don't really like it as much. Plus, I think that one might blend in a little too much with the burlap, because the burlap, it's a bit darker. I showed it to you guys. We could probably use this one. Oh, those are not the same style. I'm not quite sure where these were licensed. Some of these, I do know were licensed on Etsy. Well, we might just have to stick with the two we already picked. None of these other ones are really jumping out at me per se. I guess we could try this one. Okay. So we've got some leaves here. And I don't really have any specific placement for these. I'm just going to kind of put them in where they seem to fit. I just want them to sort of accent my triangle. So I will kind of swap that one like that. Maybe make this one smaller because it'll be down here. Now I'm going to be putting these inside of our triangle in just a moment, but just for the layout purposes, we're just going to kind of lay them in there. And I'm just, doing this quickly. We don't want this tutorial to take 57 years. So, all right, let me make this guy a little bit bigger. Okay. So to bring these into our triangle, we're just going to select all of them. And we're going to click and drag to underneath the name where it says triangle. Now, not underneath the shape, underneath the name. You should see whatever that is, like an 8/10 of a translucent rectangle. So when you do that, you'll see that everything went inside of our triangle. Now this just gives you a good visual. We still need to make sure that we get rid of the triangle background color because we don't want that color to be printing. We just are trying to get our leaves to print. So I'll go ahead and remove that just like that. And so this is going to be what our A letter will look like when it's printed. Oh, I'm also going to bring my A inside here just to make it easy as we duplicate. So you're going to do the same thing. You just want to make sure your A is at the top of the list of the leaves. All right. I'm going to right click and hit duplicate. So there's my A. We'll click on our letter and then click on the text tool, and this will allow us to change it. We'll hit a U, and we can move these leaves around. We don't want them to all be in the same spot for every single one of these. So we'll move this guy down here and we'll flip him, and we'll move this guy over here, rotate him a little bit. We'll just move that guy off of there. Maybe we don't want him this time around. So we just moved him out of the way. All right, so there's my U. And once again, we're just going to right click and duplicate because we need, I think, 8 of these. So I'm going to move my U over there. One more time, we're going to grab that letter, hit the artistic text tool, hit a T. Also just want to make sure that T is centered. Ooh. Inside of my triangle. See, that T is not centered. There we go. I just hit my center align tool to fix that. We will find our guy that we threw off there because we didn't like that last time. We'll just kind of bring him down here, and I'll just uncheck that purple one for this one. And maybe we'll put this one up here a little bit more. Okay. All right, so there's my T. Now I'm just kind of moving these off to the side here because we're going to have to align these into a document and export it. So like I said, I'm just showing you guys how to put this together for your own banner. Also, don't forget to always make sure you spell things correctly. I've definitely made that mistake a few times. We'll just, again, I'm just going to move these guys around. Maybe I'll uncheck that one for this one. Bring our purple friend up here. You know, you can make this completely unique on your own. Just always make sure that if you plan on listing this on your website somewhere, that you do save this so that the print that your customer gets is what you actually created. Okay, so I'm just going to move that one over here. And once again, duplicate. And oops. All right, I rechecked our little green guy. Maybe we'll just move him over here for this one. Rotate him. We'll move this guy. Let's move this guy over here. I'm just moving them around. Like there's literally no rhyme or reason. And you guys will discover that when you do your own, that you can lay them out however you would like. The point is just to have that initial base to work with. Okay, our M is not centered the way it needs to be. Not quite sure what happened there. There we go. And our M is going to be really close to the edge, but if we make it smaller, what we can do in this case, because M's are very wide, is we can just kind of squish him in like that. And then we'll hit that center icon again. There we go. And that'll kind of bring him so he's not so close to the edge so he doesn't look awkward. And then the last one we need is an N. And I'm actually going to just duplicate the A. Sorry, over here in the layers panel, right click and duplicate so that the A and the N will look the same. We'll have the same background for our print for our banner. Okay, and then let's just make sure our N is in the center there. Okay, it looks good. Now, two of my triangles are not going to have a letter, the one at the beginning and the end of my banner. They're just going to be leaves. So for that, I'll just move this guy over here. I'm just going to select any one of these. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to hit duplicate. And what I'm going to do is remove this and just kind of drop in my leaves, move them around and drop them in. Okay, and the idea is that this is just going to kind of look like a printed banner when it's all said and done. We've got a little bit of room to move these guys up, so let's actually do that as well. There we go. Now, if you ever have trouble, moving these around, you can always just add a stroke to this as well. And you would just do that by clicking on that stroke panel and adding an outline. Sometimes I do that for visual. I mean, I didn't do it here because it's just not necessary for me today. So there's one of our triangles, and I'm going to right click and duplicate to make a second one. Now also, you can rename these. For those of you who are new to Affinity Designer, you could actually click on one of these and then rename it Banner A. I think that's the one that's N or M. You could rename it to help it make it easier for you to visualize. Again, some of these little tips and techniques are not things that I necessarily do. So I just do want to make sure to cover it though. And let's see. We've got our one triangle with no letter, and this is our second one. So we just need to move our leaves around. I'll put this guy down here. Maybe move this guy up here. We'll give him a little flip. We'll put him over there. Again, there's like literally no right or wrong way to do this. You're just kind of going with whatever flow you like. Okay, so there's my last triangle. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we're going to get our document set up to print, and this is going to be probably 3 pages. I guess we'll find out here in a second. So I'll zoom in to make this a little easier for you guys to see. We're just going to basically lay these out in whatever way they fit. Now, I think because they are 5 inches and we're not necessarily going edge to edge, we should be able to fit them. Whether we can fit 4 is the question. I don't think that we can. You want to be careful not to use your flip horizontal or anything like that in this part of things, because if you do, you might actually end up mirroring your image on accident and then it won't print correctly. Okay, so I got 4 on there. That's cool. What we're going to do is just click our workspace, and we're going to go to File and then Export. And we want to export this as a PDF. Okay, it's going to export at the exact page size. That's why we're choosing the PDF, and then we can import that into the ProRib software. So we will hit Export, and this is Fall Banner 1. And then I will just click all of these and move them over there. And I'm even going to uncheck them just so we can't see them, so we don't accidentally pull them into anything. And then we'll go ahead and get our next page going. Trying to get the perfect amount of zoom is surprisingly difficult. Something, you know, no one ever tells you guys. All right, so we've got our U in there. And then her N. That one's going to be cutting it a little close to the edge, so I think we might just have to rotate it this way and only do 3 on this page, which is fine. I think that we only have 1 left anyways. Does that seem right? Yeah, we got 4. 3 is 7. Yep, that's 8 triangles. That would be Autumn plus 2. Okay, so once again, we're going to do File, Export. We're going to make sure we've got our whole document and our PDF. And we'll just do Fall Banner 2. And then I'll click and drag to get all of those guys off. And then this will just be our last one. He'll be lonely by himself. Not a big deal. And Export and Fall Banner 3. Okay. If you wanted to save this for the future, you would just go to File, Save As, and we can just do Fall Banner Layout. Pretty easy. And that you're saving this as an Affinity file when you do File and Save As. Okay, so we're all done with this. So now we'll go ahead and open up our ProRib software. This will take just a second to load. Okay. The first thing you always want to do is make sure you have the correct queue selected. We're using the overprint queue. If you're unsure of what queue you should be using, you simply have to look at the instructions that are provided with your media. If you happen to lose your media instructions, you can always find them online at the iColorprint.com website. Next, we're going to select our paper type from the drop-down menu. As I mentioned, we're using Uninet two-step select. Because this is going on a banner, we don't need to do any kind of rasterization or anything like that. We're just going to be able to very quickly print and go with this particular project. One of the nice features about using the two-step papers with a banner like this is that it's going to give it that look of like it had been painted, which a lot of people really like that appeal with that texture from the burlap. So just sort of a fun little trick that you didn't have to go and stencil this banner. You can quickly print, press, and sell these as they are. You always want to make sure you select the correct paper from your drop-down list because it's going to go ahead and give you your sizes. It's going to tell you what tray you should be using and the paper type that should be selected. All of this stuff factors into telling the printer the correct settings to print on. If you don't have the correct settings chosen, you're going to end up with misfeed errors. Little mistakes like this are what cause people a lot of frustrations, especially with paper misfeed errors. We want to select our correct size, which is actually a 4 for our Uninet two-step select media. We'll go ahead and hit the plus with the page to open our page, and we can actually select all 3 to open them. Now, because we saved these as a PDF, they should all import exactly the size that we need them, which saves us a whole step. We don't have to do any kind of editing or change, and we can just scroll down and see we've got all of our letters and everything has been mirrored for us. That's automatically done for our job. You can see mirror is selected right here. So that's it. We don't have to make any color adjustments because we already had this in the CMYK format. We have no reason to make any adjustments for our output simply because it's going to go on a banner. Yeah, so we are ready to print. It was really that simple. The longest part of this was creating our design. So we will actually go ahead and make sure that we hit Control and select all 3 of these. And then we will just hit our rainbow printer, and this is going to send it to our printer. So I'm going to click that, and then we'll flip you guys on over and we'll get to the marrying process.
So our Q settings, when we selected our paper type from the drop-down menu, let us know that our media, our A sheet, should be going in the bypass tray, which is this one that opens up. Always make sure that you are actually putting in the A sheet in your printer. You don't want to put the B sheet, which is the adhesive, in your printer ever. You can actually really mess up your printer by doing that. This prints very quickly. You can see they're coming out the top already. So I'm going to come over here to our heat press because we need to get our press ready to go. Okay, so the foolproof marrying, as I like to call it, because a lot of people struggle with it. There's a few important steps. The first is making sure that your pressure is at the appropriate pressure level. You can test this fairly easily using what's called the paper test. I do this with just 3 sheets of computer paper, which have disappeared, so I will just grab some new ones. Okay. Now, the way that you would test this if you don't have a digital pressure gauge, which this one does not, is by simply placing your 3 sheets of computer paper in the front and closing your press. Now, you're looking for a few things. First, as you're closing your press, you should have a reasonable amount of resistance. This should be medium firm pressure. Now, this is going to snap into place. I try and go slow so it doesn't seem so dramatic, but the spring action in the handle on this actually does snap down very quickly once you get past that one point. So first you're looking for that resistance. The recommended pressure for this is 8 PSI out of 10. So that is roughly a medium firm pressure on a manual press. The next thing you're looking for is to make sure that your paper cannot be pulled out, but you want to make sure that when you're pulling on this, it feels like if I gave this all my strength, it would come out, but I can't just easily pull it out. That's how we know that we're at the appropriate pressure point. All right. The next step to getting your press ready is to pre-press it. Now, you have to pre-press the press because the bottom platen does not heat up. And this is true of all heat presses that are currently on the market, although I have heard rumor that there will be a new press in the future that does heat up on the bottom that will be perfect for white toner printing. Failure to make sure that you preheat the bottom part is one of the biggest reasons people fail at marrying two-step paper. And that's what the process of combining the adhesive with the transfer sheet is. It's called marrying. So we're gonna go ahead and close our press and let this preheat. We're gonna let this preheat for at least 60 seconds at 310 degrees, which is what we already have it set at because the marrying process is done at 310 degrees. I'm going to talk to you about my new heat press momentarily, since we'll have some time while these are marrying. So here's our transfer sheets. This is just what they look like printed. And we're going to go right ahead and get our adhesive sheets ready. Got about 10 more seconds of our preheating to give it a nice good 60 seconds. Make sure it's nice and warm. And again, you can do the whole 120 seconds if you want to. I've been using my heat press all day, so it's actually probably plenty hot already. But I always want to make sure that I cover the bases for you guys. Okay, next, we'll lay our A sheet. We're going to take our B sheet and we're going to set it on top. Now we want to work pretty quickly, but I do want to show you that if you can kind of see, this side is more glossy and it feels smooth to the touch. This side feels like paper. That's how you know the difference between the back and the adhesive side. The adhesive side feels glossy. So we're going to go ahead and fold the corner. This is going to give us something to grab a hold of after the sheet is married. All right. And just like that, our marrying process is underway. It's 310 degrees for 120 seconds using medium firm pressure. Now, again, this should be very on the firm side. You don't want to go super firm that you're struggling to close your press, because then you can run into an issue with the adhesive pushing out from underneath your design or within the holes if you happen to rasterize. And that's just not a look that you're going to enjoy. So getting your pressure right is really important. And this is why it's recommended that you do use a higher end press like a Geonite or a Fusion IQ from Stahls, because they have digital pressure read. They, have automatic programming, all the things that you can benefit from. One of the reasons why I choose to demo with something that's not those is because I want to be realistic about what a lot of you guys can afford. So I recently upgraded to this heat press. It's about $900, so it's a good middle of the road. It's much better than, the previous presses that I've had. If you've been in my group for a while, I had a 15 by 15 Fancier Studio off of Amazon, and then I had a 16 by 20 press and release. So both of these are like super budget friendly, cheap models. I upgraded so that I could pass my other press along to someone in need, which of course is always a great feeling. And I got this model. Now I chose this model because it is actually still recommended for white toner printing. And the main reason it's recommended is because this bottom platen comes with an Allen wrench so that you can properly adjust it and make sure it's nice and level and you're getting nice even pressure. Now I really do like this press. It has like a nice smooth swing action, and I thought the price point was fair. All right, we got 5 seconds left, so I'm going to, try not to burn my arm again, get my heat glove on. And we're just gonna rub this like 3 times. You wanna keep your transfer on the heat press while you're doing this. You're gonna carefully peel back, slow, it's called slow tight roll. Now, some people, when they get all seasoned, they like rip it off, and that's totally fine. But I try not to do that with you guys because I don't want you guys to just be like, oh, I saw it in a video. And yeah, anyways. So if you guys can see, that's lint from my glove, but you can see we got nice clean lines. So that's good. And there's our first 2 panels to cut out. Sorry, that ring light is giving a little bit of a glare. Try and get it without that. Okay, we'll set that one there. Since this is already hot, we're going to go ahead and move right on to our next one. And as you get better at this, you can actually press multiple sheets at a time. There are people who just stack them and do like 5 to 10 at a time. Maybe one day I'll do a video on that, but I definitely would have to practice because I've never tried that out before. All right, it's already heated up, so we don't need to pre-press because we just used it. We're just going to close it and let that marrying get on. So while that is going on, we want to go ahead and trim the transfer that we just completed. Now, if you were going to sell this, you would want to make sure you trim off that adhesive line, and sometimes you'll get adhesive lines around the edge too. So it's just good practice to always make sure you are trimming them off. Completed transfers like this are pretty much good indefinitely. Once you add that adhesive, you can just store these in a nice climate safe storage tote and pull them out in the future when you need them. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that down the center as well. Yep. Since this is for our banner. We've got about 60 seconds left in this marrying. So once again, if you're just joining us, that is 310 seconds for, or sorry, 310 degrees for 120 seconds. That's the marrying process for two-step paper. I believe it's all the same. At least all the ones that I have tried have been the same. So I guess there's always a chance that there's one that's different. And then I am just kind of laying out my pieces over here so that I can make sure I get them in the order that I want them. All right, we have, let's see, 12 seconds left. 12 seconds left. We'll give it a nice rub and then we will peel it. Now you always want to be careful that you don't peel it too quickly, as in too soon right after. You got to give it that few seconds. It's sort of like a sweet spot. This isn't like vinyl or whatever where you got to rush and peel it off. Okay. Nice little rub around and hold it down. Pull it at an angle. Oh, see, I waited too long on that one leaf. Nice light tight roll. Okay. So this happens if you wait too long. And since I was busy burning my hand and jabbering, I waited a little too long. It's not a big deal for this project, but of course, if you were doing a shirt, you would want to make sure that you were aware of that. And I'm actually kind of glad it happened because I got a chance to show you guys why it happened. Okay, let's go ahead and get our last one up here. All right, one more time. A transfer sheet face up, B transfer sheet adhesive down with a little fold in the corner. Put a protective sheet over that so that no adhesive gets on our press and transfers onto something in the future. Close it. Boom. 310 degrees, 120 seconds. So I'm going to show you this again where this did not. Sorry. So like I said, this is because we waited too long. I was busy running my mouth. It is important that you find that sweet spot, but don't get discouraged by stuff like that because it happens. If I was doing a shirt, I would absolutely just print this again. But since I'm doing a banner for my fireplace, it's not really that big of a deal, quite honestly. And it's also for me. If this was for a customer, it'd be a little different. One of the things I like about live videos is that when things go wrong, we can address the issue. I see so many people who get frustrated because they think that the live videos that they saw, you know, wherever, or the not live videos, the carefully edited videos, nothing ever goes wrong. Things go wrong. And everything is a chance for you to step back and say, okay, What did I do this time that I should be aware of not to do next time? Which is exactly what we just talked about. Okay. So I'm just kind of laying out my little letters over here. And by the way, I did record the other part making them before this, and I changed the letters just a tiny bit, just the leaf layout, because I didn't like, there's a little bit too much repetition in the other layout. Okay, so again, we are using an EnduraPress SD20. We are marrying iColor two-step select, which is actually one of my favorite medias now. I find that the whole process of using it is honestly a bit smoother. We've got 7 seconds left. So we've got our heat glove on. We're going to be ready this time. All right. Get our press out of the way. We pull off our protective sheet. We get this over here. We give it a nice rub. And then we try not to burn our fingers as we do our slow, tight roll back. And we go quickly, but not too quickly. If it seems like it's going to pop up, you can just kind of hold it down like that, like I did. And boom. Oops, it stuck to my hand this time. All right. We didn't lose any pieces that time. We moved quickly. We moved steadily. That is what it's all about. All right. We are ready, well, almost ready, to press our banner. Now, I haven't done these before. I just did a test piece earlier because I decided I should probably make sure this wasn't going to like melt. It's very stiff. I'm pretty sure it's burlap. I got it off Amazon. So I did do a little test earlier because I was like, hopefully this doesn't melt. But the first thing we need to do is lower our temperature. So we're going to lower this down to 280. And we only need 30 seconds per panel. Okay, we'll give this just a minute to cool down. While I'm doing that, I can show you guys getting this little project taped together. Let me get the computer out of the way. Okay. So while that is cooling down, which should only take a minute, I'm going to go ahead and set up my letters and get them taped on to our bunting, banner, whatever you want to call it. Now, even though I'm doing this as like a fall banner for my fireplace, which I'm honestly pretty excited about, I was thinking about it, and there is a lot of uses for this. I mean, of course, you can do holiday banners and sell them, but you can also do banners for coming home, weddings, anniversaries, baby showers. I feel like you got a lot of options. And the nice part about this project is it's actually a really reasonably priced project. So this banner piece was part of 48. It was, I just cut some off, pulled some down the string and cut them off. So I got the 8 that we got here. Okay. And then if you figure this particular media is, I believe, $1.60, $1.80 for one sheet. So if you were to do this autumn banner, the bunting was $10. So you could get a minimum of, you'd get at least 4 out of, I guess you could probably get 5 actually. You could get 5 out of that. No, you could get 6. You could get 6 banners for that $10. And then you've got, we'll just round up. We'll say $3 in media. Well, $4 in media, and you can get 8 of these. So $1.25 in banner material. So all in, we're talking $5. $5 for one of these personalized, customized banners. And you would be able to sell this for at least $25. Now, for the holidays, you can always do this reversible. I mean, this did not bleed through to the other side, so you could totally do that reversible. Anything reversible, as I always tell you guys, adds, well, it adds at least $5 extra. Okay. I'm just trying to lay these out. AT. My question is the two use. Okay, I think those are good. So the easiest way to go about this is we're actually going to do multiple on our press at a time. And all we're going to have to do is heat tape this. So let me make sure that my banner is all facing in the same direction. I'll start over here. So this is going to be our last one. And I mentioned that I started this from the stitching line. So I'm basically just trying to make sure that my edges line up with the edges of my banner. So that one's good. We will hold this carefully, flip it over, and just give it some tape to secure it. I think we can go over just a little bit. I want to try and make sure those edges that I created are lined up. There we go. It doesn't really matter where you put the heat tape, quite honestly. Just as long as it is where it needs to be. Okay. Oh. Messing up that one little spot. Okay. So there's one. We will get one up here on our heat press. I'm wondering if I can do actually the whole thing. That would be really impressive. Here, maybe we'll just give it a try. Okay, all right. Let me get you guys out of my way just a hair. All right, let's see. So this one's coming way down, so we get that nice and lined up. There we go. All right. And tape that one. And go ahead and do another piece down here. And I'm just going to kind of wrap it around. Are we in place still? Ooh, we're a little out of place. And retros. Well, you know what? We can just tape it to the rubber mat. It's not going to matter. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. I'm going to try and fit as many of these pieces. Hopefully I don't spell this wrong. As many of these pieces on the press at one time. Okay. I know you guys can't necessarily see all the way up there, so try and move you. Again, we're just gonna try and make sure we stay lined up with everything. Again, I'm gonna go for this taping it to the heat press method with this little project we're doing. I don't know if I'll be able to get all these on here. I might just have to stick with these 4 for right now, or these 3. We'll try and get the other ones in the next press there. Okay, so this is totally fine. We are going to rotate this over, and press. Now, your press onto your substrate should actually be a firmer pressure. And since this was already set to medium firm when we married our pages, generally you have enough pressure for the part where you put it on your substrate, simply because the substrate is thicker. So this is only 30 seconds. This is very quick, and then it has to cool. So just like that, we're going to just real carefully pull our friends along. Okay. As I mentioned, our friends got to cool. So, so they're going to hang off the edge of the press there, and we'll just move to the next three. I think we found a way to do this, you guys. Okay. I might actually be able to get all 5. We'll see what happens. Okay, our next letter. Hopefully I don't spell this wrong since we're going backwards. Okay, we've got U, A, T, A, U, T, U. Okay. So I'm just going to start over here because this is where I'm standing. Line up those edges. Very nice, very nice. Grab some heat tape. Go ahead and line this one up as well. Okay. Let's do the other side. I'm pretty excited about this banner in case you guys can't tell. I just love holiday decorating. Okay. We're going to go ahead and press this section for 30 seconds now. And let's have a look at how these guys are doing over here. Now these need to be cold, and I'm talking ice cold. They are like lukewarm right now. So you can just let them cool naturally, which is totally fine, you know, in this situation. Or you can take an ice block. I just pulled this out of my freezer, and you can just give these a nice little rub. Wrap it in a towel, of course. Okay. It's still not quite cold enough, but we're almost out of time to lift for our next part. Okay. And one more time, I'm just gonna real carefully pull these off the press, get our friends down with our other friends. All right, and here we do our last 2 pieces of our banner. And then we can just adjust them on the string, obviously. Oh, oops. Okay. Okay. We're a little far down. I don't want to get white toner media or white toner transfer onto my heat press. There we go. Okay. And then our last little triangle over here. All right, once again, 30 seconds. We're doing 280 degrees. So you can do this at varying temperatures. I went with 280 because you can apply white toner at lower temps. And also, I just wanted to be sure this wasn't going to melt, quite honestly. I was a little worried. So back over here with our letters that are done. These ones are almost cool enough We're going to give everybody some love with our ice block while we wait for this to finish. Now, the secret to this part, which is another part that people struggle with, is quite honestly, when you think that it's cold enough, still wait. Okay. I'm actually going to bring this all over here so we can see it better and I have more space to work and hopefully not burn myself. As you can see, there's no real issue with like moving this around either. So when you think this is cool enough, you still want to wait. You will know when it's ready because when you go to peel it, it will pretty much fall from the paper. Just like that. So get our tape off of there. I'm just gonna keep rubbing our ice block on these. I'm not even giving this any effort at all to peel it off. That's how you know that it's ready to come off. Okay. So the ice block helps a lot. I mean, if you have the time and you're doing bulk runs, you can just let it cool off until it's cold. I've seen people, if you're doing something with finer details, I've seen people actually put it in like a cooler, and that seems to help a lot. I'm super happy with how this looks so far. Oops. My friends are taped together. Okay. We still have to do the final finishing step. Uh-oh, that part wasn't quite done yet. This is why I said, wait, you gotta wait till it's cool. You think it's cool, it's probably not cool enough. It should literally just like fall away. And if it doesn't, if it gives you resistance like this is, it's not ready. Give it a little more love with the ice block. Now I've seen people use, there's like a ceramic block and like a metal block that you can use also. I had an ice block in my fridge, so. See, it should just fall away. All right, so our last step is to do our finishing step. 30 seconds to finish and we are done. And I actually think we might be able to get all of this on the press at once. I'm gonna try. Dun, dun, dun. Here, maybe if I move these guys up here. And then put these ones in between them, maybe. Oh, almost. Oh. Now you guys can see what I'm doing. And okay, I think we got them all on the press. All right, so we're just gonna put our protective cover sheet over this. Now this is a special coated craft paper for white toner printing. You don't wanna just use any old paper because it might stick. It doesn't deliver as best of results. This is tried and true. Woo. So it's just 30 seconds still at that 280 degrees. And once this 30 seconds is up, this project is done. You can always add stuff to it like ribbon. You can hang it as it is. You could do wooden beads if you were selling it. I've actually got some ribbon at Walmart this morning that I was going to use for something else that I might put on this as well. The sky is the limit. Okay. Now, this is going to be a little stuck, so you just kind of want to give it a second and then carefully pull it off. And now I'll pull our banner over so you guys can get a nice good look at it. Okay. So up close, it looks like it's all painted right in on the texture, which I think is great. And if I can get that all in full frame for you guys, well, best I can. You guys can see. So this tutorial was how to make a burlap banner using the iColor two-step select media with your white toner printer. I printed with the iColor 550 today. If you are interested in seeing more white toner projects, definitely go join the group White Toner Transfer Support Group. That link is in the video description. They are coordinated with iColor, and there are just so many cool and amazing projects. You will see lots of interesting tips, especially if you're considering getting a white toner printer or you've struggled with it in the past. So if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. All of the links for what we have used today is in the video description. And aside from that, thank you for joining us, and I hope you guys had a great rest of your night.